Mowing, watering, and fertilizing. Those are really the only three things you have to do to your lawn. The non-negotiables. You don't have a choice. And today we're going to talk about the fertilizing end of things. Hey, thanks for being here for another episode of Budget Lawns. I appreciate you as always. I couldn't do it without you. If this information helps you, give me a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Man, it is really amazing what just a little food can do to your lawn. Just a little bit of fertilizer. I mean, I know how I feel when I get a good hearty meal in my belly. I just feel like $1,000,000, and so does your lawn when you get some fertilizer down. And I got my first one down for the season. My spring app is in the books, and I just nailed it. Everything went perfectly. When I lay down a round of fertilizer, I really have two main objectives. I want to mow first, which I did that. Got a good mow in. And I want to make sure there's some rain in the forecast because I hate dragging out hoses and sprinklers just to water in my fertilizer. So I always time it around pretty decent rain chances. Well, in just 1 week, after accomplishing both of those to a T, we're going to look at what results are when you lay down a round of just a simple, inexpensive, generic, synthetic, all-purpose fertilizer like Expert Gardener 1010 from Walmart. Last week's video, we talked about fertilizing your lawn a little bit, and we really talked about grub control or signs that you might have grubs in your lawn. I'll leave a link to that video down below. And the lawn, honestly, in last week's episode just looked pretty dismal, but man, things have changed in 1 week. Now, last week it looked pretty bad because, it had been short on rainfall, had been short for the most part on warm temperatures, but since then we have had some heat, humidity, and some warmth, and you combine those all together with a little bit of fertilizer and bam, things just explode. Hey, one little tip. You got to get you a cheap rain gauge, folks. If you don't have something to measure rainfall, whether it's a weather station in your yard with an app on your phone, which you can get one of those, but all it takes is something about $2 or $3 mounted outside. I like to put mine right outside a window out on a fence post because I don't even have to leave the house to go check it. Just peek through the window and bam, I know exactly what I've got. Then I'll go out and empty it sometime when I want to get another gauge on what the rainfall is going to be for the next round. But I put down that fertilizer last week after a nice mow. Immediately, I mean, within 24 hours, I shouldn't say immediately, but within 24 hours, got almost a ½ an inch of rain and more rain throughout the week. We've had inches of rain this week. It's been a pretty good week of rainfall. And the lawn just responded to that application. So what can you expect when you fertilize your lawn? Well, the obvious thing, the lawn is going to green up. Nice dark green color is one of the results of a good application of fertilizer. For this application, I put down around, a pound of nitrogen per 1,000. That's typically what I'll do for the first app of the season to get things really rocking and rolling. But after that, I'll dial it back a little bit. But once you get a heavy dose of that nitrogen down, you can expect things to green up and start moving very quickly. As you can see, just 1 week between these videos. I mean, that is amazing, and it will just keep getting better from here. So last week in the video, we talked about how the real dark green spots were mainly the result of dog pee, because dog pee is high in urea nitrogen, so it'll make those areas green up and thicken up and thrive just like fertilizer would. But once you get that nitrogen fertilizer down, as part of your 1010, guess what happens? Everything starts greening up and those dog pee spots don't become noticeable in the sense that they look better. So once you're feeding the lawn the nitrogen it needs, that urea nitrogen from your dog taking a leak is more than it actually needs. So you can expect that once your lawn is properly fed, you're probably going to see some dog urine spots. All that is just way too much nitrogen for that grass to handle, and it burns it in that spot. Now, for a lawn like mine, Bermuda grass doesn't bother me in the least bit. Yeah, it's unsightly to look at for a short period of time, but I keep it watered and mowed, and it's going to bounce back in no time. For you folks with cool season grass that have to deal with non-spreading turf, that might be more of an issue for you. But if you ask me, the only real solution to that is get rid of your dog, and I promise you that's not happening in my household. You better expect this once you get your fertilizer down too. That top growth is going to start going bananas, and that means so will your mowing. I've gone from just once a week mowing. This was my first week to get a midweek mow in, and once you get that first round of fertilizer down, guess what? You can go ahead and just bank on your mowing frequency shooting through the roof as well. At least 2 times a week. If you're gung-ho like many lawn enthusiasts, you'll probably do it 3 times a week. Now, there are ways to limit that. I know lots of folks are into plant growth regulators. That's not my style. I'll just increase my mowing to 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, I'm a teacher. I've got all summer. About to hit a 2-month summer vacation. And the mowing is what keeps me going all summer long without having to work. All right, now here's one of the downsides to your fertilizer. Depends on how you look at it, okay? You're going to be feeding the weeds in your lawn as well. Now, this is just a new yard that I've got. If you remember this time last year, not but 12 months ago, this lawn was infested with weeds. Any cool season weed you could think of, it was in my lawn. But in a short 12 months, I have gotten a vast majority of those under control. Not all of them. I've done a couple rounds of pre-emergent. No post-emergent weed control yet, but I will likely be hitting some of these weeds here the early part of summer with some post-emergent control. My Spectracide Weed Stop for Lawns Plus Crabgrass Killer. I'm seeing some clover starting to move and spread out just a little bit among some other weeds that most of them are cool season weeds, will be gone when the heat gets here anyways. But I plan on doing a spot treatment of a weed killer here pretty soon once school wraps up. But in the meantime, I got that fertilizer down, and those weeds like to eat just like your grass does. So you might see some of those weeds growing a little bit stronger than you want to as well. So you may have to hop on some sort of weed killer treatment to slow those down a bit. But if you keep mowing and you keep watering and you keep doing your fertilizer applications, every once in a while throughout the growing season, you're really going to promote, especially that Bermuda grass growth like I have, and eventually it wins the battle, it chokes out the weeds, and your weeds become fewer and far between, but it will feed those suckers as well. So be prepared for that, because the weeds in my lawn really started going bananas after it got this round of fertilizer not but a week ago. All right, my friends, I hope this information gives you a little bit of an idea of what's going to happen when you get that fertilizer down. Most of it's good. Just mow, water, fertilize. Everything else in the lawn takes care of itself. Hey, appreciate you being here. As always, join me and Joe from Waterboy Productions on Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central for the Budget Water Show. We're live every Tuesday. We hope you'll join us. From time to time, we just kick it and talk about lawns and life, and you might make some new friends. But until then, we're going to wrap this one up. We'll see you soon.